three cups of peas.
Dried peas?
Yeah, dried split peas. Rinse through, I mean, you have to kind of pick through them just in case there are any unwanted objects in the bags. Rinsed them, covered them with water, brought them to a boil, and you boil them for 2 minutes. You really have to watch. Not that I've learned this from experience or anything, but it will boil quite vigorously and sometimes over the pot. So you kind of have to watch it, stir it occasionally. 2 minutes, then you take it off the heat, you cover it, and you just let it sit for an hour. And that just kind of gets things all moist and starts to bring out those beautiful natural sugars in the peas. So now I'm just going to drain this off and rinse that. Drain and rinse. And then just going to set those aside while I've got the base of the soup ready. This is three cups. You know, some people just use one bag, but I like to have all that split pea goodness in the soup, so I add a little more.
Where do you get the dried peas?
I just Festival has them. I mean, you can't get the organic kind if you wanted the organic kind. This is just you know, essential everyday kind of peas.
Which section are they in?
They are in it's a whole section at Festival that has like dried navy beans, and I think it's by the canned beans.
Okay.
At the store. So I used to get them, the organic ones, at Candies for way more than I should have spent. But you know, love to support local.
Right.
Okay, so then while that just kind of drains, I'm just gonna start by chopping up some onion. I'm using sweet Vidalia onions here, which are in season right now. If Vidalias aren't around, I just use a good sweet onion. Start with one, see what one looks like. Doesn't have to be really finely diced, I just kind of chop it up.
Because it gets whizzed in the blender, right?
Yeah, it's going to get whizzed and it'll soften up. What I'm going to do is chop up some onion, a couple of leeks, and some celery, and I'm going to let that saute a little bit, kind of get things moving, and then I'm going to throw in some carrots, hit that with some wine, some fresh rosemary, and then the peas, the ham, and the water, and we're just going to let it cook. The key to pea soup is low and slow. So it's not something that, despite what the bag says, that you can cook in an hour. It's not going to give it enough time for those sugars to break down and to make everything nice and tasty. I think that's going to be enough onion, because I'm going to be adding some leeks too. So just going to start with some celery. The celery, I got it at Aldi's, by the way.
Nice.
Really nice celery.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I usually do is cut each stalk in half, and then cut each,
That's what I do too.
yeah, half and half, so this seems to cook better that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it blends, I think, better in the blender too.
Mm-hmm.
I need one of those huge knives, you know, like the really fat ones.
It's not a big enough knife for you?
No, no, I need a big. See, I'm used to this one now. Of course, I've just jinxed myself. I'll probably cut myself at the moment here.
Well, I'm sure Cabela's sells machetes.
So two things that I want to get in Mother T's kitchen would be something like a machete and a blowtorch.
I bet we could secure those somehow.
Ah, yeah. You probably have to put up warning tape around my kitchen if that were to happen.
Right?
Alright. Okay, so put that over here. Have you ever cooked leeks before?
Technically yes. Correctly? We'll see.
Alright. Leeks are interesting, I guess, in how they grow. This all goes to compost. But you can see through there that it's sand. So one thing you need to know about leeks is when you cut it in half, like so, you'll notice up through the leaves, there you can't have sand and soil and stuff. So what I do is just make sure you kind of, some of these outer leaves are just going to have to go. But you just have to make sure that you kind of rinse it. Some people soak them, but I think if you just rinse through, you know, it's only going to be at that one end.
Yeah.
You know, where you're going to find it, and just, you know, rinse off what you can, or if it's stubborn, just cut it off so you don't end up with grit in what you're cooking. There's nothing worse than grit.
Are they grown in sand, or?
I want to say probably sandy soil. They'll probably grow in any soil, but it seems like it's always sand-like substance that's in there. So that looks good. So, you know, sometimes you're going to find that they're super clean, but this all depends. It only takes a moment to... And just make sure that ends are cut off. Alright, and then we're just gonna
This is another type of onion thing, right?
Yeah. It's a mild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't cry when I cut leeks.
Yeah. Sweet onions generally aren't bad.
I have really sensitive eyes.
Yeah. But even last night when I cut up an onion for dinner, it was a sweet onion and it was pretty brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do one more week, I think, but in the meantime what I'm going to do is start I don't think this pot's going to be big enough. I'm actually going to put my soup crock in the basement.